Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of the Golden Age. This is our series of Warhammer Fantasy Battle Reports for 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy, and this is Battle Report number 145. This is a 3,000 point battle that is fought between myself as well as my little sister Shade. My little sister Shade is bringing Dark Elves for this one, so she'll be playing House Daechir, the Golden Reavers of Skyros, our studio's 3,000 point Dark Elf army, as you can see laid on all of its greatness. And I will, of course, be playing my army, the Miragliano Mercenaries, my 3,000 point Dogs of War army. So for those of you guys who are tuning in for the very first time, in case you're not sure what's going on, what's happening is that my studio has recently created this 3,000 point Dogs of War army for Warhammer Fantasy Battle. And every single time my studio does a new army, we take this army through its paces and have it fight every single army in the studio's collection. We have 16 armies in total, including this one, so this army will be going through 15 different battles, fighting every single army in our collection up to this point. And so far, the record for this army has been 3-0, so it's had 3 victories and 0 defeats. 3 victories and 0 defeats, and so now we're going on to its 4th battle against Dark Elves in this time. So we're going to play some background music real quick. As the music is playing, we'll show you photos of both armies as well as our army lists. So if you want to see exactly what we're bringing for this battle report, you can pause and take a look at your own leisure, or you can look in the description box below for more details. So that being said, let's get this battle report on a roll.
Crom, I've never prayed you before. I have no tongue for it. No one, not even you, will remember if we were good men or bad, why we fought, or why we died. All that matters is that 2 stood against many. That's what's important. Balor pleases you, Crom. So grant me one request. Grant me revenge. And if you do not listen, then to hell with you.
Assemble the army!
Alright, so let's go ahead and talk about the scenario rules for this one. The scenario rules is Battle Line is the most typical game of Warhammer Fantasy that we play on this channel with standard deployments as well as standard victory conditions. So now that we're done talking about the scenario rules, let's go ahead and talk about deployments as well as battle plans. Alright, so let's talk about the deployment for the Miragliano Mercenaries. On my far left-hand flank, on the back, that is Lagonia, which is my mercenary great cannon with 3 crew with hand weapons. Also in that force, I have Bronzino's Galloper Guns. It is a regiment renowned. It consists of Bronzino, the master gunner. He's got hand weapon, pistol, as well as heavy armor, and mounted on a warhorse. And we also have 2 gun batteries as well. They have swift stride, and they have pack horses with 3 crews apiece as well. Now, right in front of them, of course, is the Vrenzo Gunners. The Vrenzo Gunners is a unit of 20 handgunners with standard bearer as well as musician. They also have handguns, light armor, as well as devices and hand weapons. And right behind them on the right-hand side, that is the Golden Company, a unit of 26 Paymasters bodyguard with full command. They have halberds and heavy armor. They also have Mydaas' bodyguards upgrade as well, making them stubborn. And leading that unit is Mydaas the Mean. He's the special character who's also the Paymaster for this army. He's also got a hand weapon as well as full plate armor. He's got a treasure map as well as the crest of Mydaas, which gives him the ability to give him magical attacks. Also in that unit is Sheik Yadush, the special character who's got a hand weapon as well as a pay chest, and he's mounted on a pay cart. And that pretty much makes up the deployment here on the left-hand flank for the Miragliano Mercenaries. Alright, so making up my center deployment, in the middle and the back, that unit is called Perazzo's Last Legion. It is a regiment renowned. It is led by Perazzo, who's got hand weapon, crossbow, and heavy armor. This unit also has a standard bearer as well as a musician. It consists of 20 crossbowmen and 23 pikemen. They're equipped with light armor, hand weapons, pikes, as well as crossbows. And located in this unit as well as where most of my characters are located at, my General Condottieri Patricio Il Turcio is my merchant prince, who's also my general. He's got a brace of pistols as well as a shield and a barred warhorse. He's packing the Ogre Blade for +2 armor +2 strength, armor of destiny for a board save. He's also got Guido's Lucky Coin because, you never know when a reroll might come in handy. And he's also got the stratagem Forward March, so that way all of the infantry units in the army have vanguard 6 inches forward. At the same time, I've also have Maximilian Max Schreiber. He's my hireling wizard lord. He's my level 4 Lore of Metal wizard. He's got Searing Doom, Enchanted Blades of Iban, Glittering Robe, again as Golden Hounds, and Final Transmutation. And also located in this unit are 2 special characters. Gotrek Gurnison, the special character, he's got Gotrek's Rune Axe, as well as his partner in crime, Felix Jaeger. The special character is also armed with the Wormslayer Blade. And on the right hand side, that unit is called the Lucchini Rifles. It is a unit of 20 handgunners with standard bearer as well as musician. They have handguns, light armor, as well as devices. And finally, making my right-hand flank. On the left-hand side, the unit is called the Nightmare Legion. It is a regiment in renown that is led by Ennio Mortini. He is a special character who's got heavy armor as well as a shield, and he's also packing the legendary weapon Scab's Grath. Leading this unit is our champion Renzo Avanti, who's got additional hand weapons as well as heavy armor, as well as 28 Doom Legionaries. We have a standard-bearing musician in this unit, as well as packing halberds, heavy armor, as well as shields. Right behind them on the right-hand side, that is the Estasi, which is my Revolt. It's got 3 crew as well as hand weapons, and up in the front there on the right hand side, those are the Thugs of Debaro. It is a unit of 5 Stratiotes with light armor with light crossbows as well as mounted on war horses. And that makes up my deployment on the right hand flank. So going to the other side of the table for House Daechir, the Golden Reavers of Skyros. This is my little sister Shade's deployment. Up in the front on the left hand side, using Vanguard rules of course, are the Shacklemore Seers. Is a unit of 5 Doomfire Warlocks. They are led by Master Warlock. They have hand weapons and dark steeds. They also have spells of the Cursed Coven as well. So continuing on the deployment on the left-hand side, on the far left, that is Rathric the Maw. He is a Charybdis, followed by, on the right-hand side, Virazil the Broken, a War Hydra with Fiery Breath upgrade. Also right next to him is also a hero. That character's name is, Mistress Iridani, the consort of Dagon. She is a master who's packing a great weapon as well as heavy armor and a Sea Dragon Cloak and shield. She's running a Dark Pegasus, and she has the Cloak of Twilight as well. And right next to her on the right-hand side, that is the general for this army. His name is Lord Mydaas Daechir, the Golden Lord of Skyros. He is a High Beastmaster who's also the general for this army. He's got a Sea Dragon Cloak. He's partnered with the Chillblade, Armored Fortune, and the other Trickster Stard. And he's also mounted on Kalibos' Manticore, who has Blind Rage, as well as Ironheart skin upgrades. And then right in front of them, of course, are the Morning Dawn. The Morning Dawn is a unit of 20 Dark Shards, Musician, and Standard Bearer. They have repeater crossbows and light armor, and they're also packing the Banner of Eternal Flames for flaming attacks. Making up the center of Shade's unit army is the Seastone Sorrows, is a unit of 38 Dread Spears, Musician, and Standard Bearer. They have spears, light armor, and shields, and they're packing the Standard of Discipline. And also leading that unit too are 2 characters. First of all, we have Sister Sinner, the Oracle of Kos. She's a Supreme Sorceress. She's got level 4 Wizard with the lore of Dark Magic. She's got Power of Darkness, Word of Pain, Shroud of Despair, as well as Arnzipal's Black Horror. She's also packing the Book of Asher for +1 Dispels and +1 Casting, and the Talisman of Endurance for a 5 aboard save. Also, we have Lord Captain Lodi Daechir, the Golden Sun. He is a master, who's also the army's battle standard bearer. He's got great weapons as well as heavy armor. He's got a Sea Dragon Cloak as well as a shield. And up on the tower, we have 2 Reaper bolt throwers called the Storms of Kos. And finally, making up the far right-hand flank for my little sister Shade. On the left-hand side, that is the Crimson Blades of Keron Kar. There are 14 Cold One Knights with full command. They have lances, heavy armor, and shields, and mounted on Cold Ones. And leading that unit is a character named Lady Murder, the Tamer of Beasts. She is a sorceress, level 1 wizard with the lore of beasts. She's got Swiston's Wild form for her spell. She's packing hand weapon as well as a Cold One, and she's also got a Dispel Scroll. And then on the far right-hand side, we have the Shadowrunners, unit of 5 Dark Riders with Standard Bearer. They have spears, repeater crossbows, as well as light armor, and they're mounted on Dark Steeds. And that makes a deployment for House Daechir, the Golden Reavers of Skyros. So with deployment over with, let's go ahead and talk about battle plans. Alright, so now that we're done talking about scenario rules as well as deployments, let's go ahead and talk about the battle plan real quick. So here's an overhead shot of the entirety of the table, as you can see, and I do have my work cut out for me. And the reason why is because my little sister Shade is playing what is known as the Monster Mash list. The Monster Mash list is a very flank attack heavy army for Dark Elves. As you can see, my little sister has basically put her main killing machines over here in the left hand flank. Over there in the front, I'm not sure if you can, let me go and zoom it real quick so that way you guys can see it better. But if you look over there right next to it, she has her monsters over there in the back. So she has her general who's mounted on a Manticore, so these back there, as well as one of her heroes who's also mounted on a Dark Pegasus. She has a Charybdis as well as a War Hydra. And on this side of the army, the right hand flank, she's also got her 15 Cold One Riders. And so basically what this army operates is that the main central units, which are the infantry with the crossbows as well as the spears, they advance forward and they also lay down suppressive fire using these crossbows. Now the light cavalry guys on the side here, these Dark Riders right here, they attack any kind of chaff that might be blocking their way. Same thing with the Doomfire Warlocks. Their job is to move up and try to bubble cast a Enfeebling Foe. I think it was the Soul Blight. So that way you have less strength as well as toughness for your army. And while that is happening, of course, the flanks get swarmed by the monsters, as well as the Cold One Knights, and then, of course, they meet up in the center, and they destroy everything that stands in their way. Now, as you guys are aware, monsters and cavalry do very well against light infantry, and that is what the my Dogs of War army mainly consists of. Mainly consists of light infantry options. So in order to survive this, what I'm going to do is rely upon my superior firepower in order to try to do so. So my army has 3 cannons over here on the left-hand side. I got 2 from Bronzino's Galloper guns. They're not as strong as great cannons, but they're still strength 7. They can cause D3 wounds, so they can still cause a lot of problems. They can also fire grave shots, so they're not too not slouches. I also have a great cannon over here, so hopefully what I can do is whittle down my sisters and monsters as they make their way across the battlefield, hopefully cause some problems there. At the same time, I could take out our infantry forces with my handgunners as well as my Praz's Lost Legion. This gives me 60 shots every turn. I got 40 shots with handguns, and by using my forward march specialty stratagem, I'm actually 6 inches closer because I have my Vanguard roll up to 6 inches, so now within shooting range to open fire with my handguns. Same thing with 20 crossbows back over here as well. So that's a lot of strength 4 attacks going directly against elves. So that would be really helpful as well. At the same time, also my Revolt, which is basically kind of like a Hellblaster volley gun over here. Hopefully this can actually whittle down a little bit my opponent's Cold One Riders. Hopefully I can take those guys out as well. At the same time, I also have an undead unit here that can also pin them if I have to, and try to tar pin them as best as I can. And that's pretty much what my plan is. My plan is to pretty much fight defensively. I'm not going to go on the offense because most of my shooting attacks are either stand and shoot or move. So that's the reason why I'm probably not going to do that too much. I'm probably just going to stand my ground, make my opponent come to me, because that's how our army pretty much operates. And that's pretty much the battle plan for this one. So the battle plan's over with. My little sister Shade and I, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and we will roll for initiative to see which of us will be going first. Alright, so now we're back the top of turn number 1, and I managed to get the initiative on this one. So dogs will be going first in this battle, and this is after the movement phase. As you can see, I didn't really do any much movement for the most part. Like I said before, my plan is to pretty much fight defensively for the most part. I'm going to stand my ground. I'm going to shoot my opponent as fast as I can and try to roll them down as much as possible before my enemy actually engages me in close combat. So as you can see, Bronzino's Galloper guns as well as Le Agonia, my great cannon, it basically stays exactly where it's located at. Same thing with the Golden Company as well as Praz's Lost Legion. Same thing with the Red Zone Gunners as well as my Lucchini rifles. The only real movement that took place over here was on the right-hand flank. So pretty much this is what did happen. First of all, I actually moved up my my Stratiotes. I moved them within an inch directly towards these guys as well, so that way they can't really move against me for the Shadowrunners. That way it protects my Revolt as long as possible, so that way they can open fire during my shooting phase directly into the Crimson Blades of Kronkar. At the same time, I also kind of marched up my Nightmare Legion, the Doom Legion led by Ennio Mordini. The reason why is because I did that is so that way it protects the right-hand flank of my Renzo Gunners in case the Shadowrunners try to countercharge or move against me. And at the same time, it might give my opponent second thoughts to charge my Ground Gunners because I'll be able to flank them as well. So my goal here is that my Little Sister Shade will take the bait, charge directly into my unit, so that way those are the guys will be engaged in close combat because my guys are undead. I can't really break, so I don't have to worry about taking break tests. It's a beautiful tar pinning unit. And at the same time, the Revolt's getting ready to shoot in the next shooting phase here. And that pretty much makes up my movement phase for this one. So with the movement phase, we go directly to the magic phase. So now we're back with the magic phase. Before we actually do that, I forgot to mention for my Mydaas's Paymasters bodyguards, this is the Golden Company. For them, when they came up with the map for Mydaas's treasure map, they got +1 combat resolution, so I do apologize for that one. So during the magic phase, actually quite impressive magic phase for me. I actually managed to get 2 spells off. I was able to get off Magical Blades of Eyebind directly onto my Varenzo Gunners. So now those guys will have +1 hit as well as additional bonus to their armor piercing value for their handguns, which makes them incredibly deadly, what makes them really awesome that way. At the same time, probably the biggest one though is I managed to cast off the boosted version of Final Transmutation. I got really lucky on that one. I threw 4 dice at it as well as my Fickle Fortune of Fate. I got 22 on the total on that one. So my little sister Shade decided not to burn her Dispel die. She decided to actually take her chance because she had 5 power dice, so she really liked her odds. Plus she's got the Book of Asher for a caster. Unfortunately though, she rolled 21. So because of that, she just landed just short of actually accomplishing that. And as you can see, I managed to kill 16 Dark Elves, which is absolutely fantastic from the Dread Spears. So 16 of those guys die. Of course, the Dark Elves do pass their panic check because Dark Elves don't break. They got really good leadership, so no harm, no foul there. But they do have stupidity put on them as well as units around them for area of effect. So they'll have to take stupidity tests if they want to do anything as well. I doubt the stupidity will have anything really impactful for my enemy because they're Dark Elves and they have really good leadership. But it's just kind of like a little bit of an added bonus as well, which is kind of nice. My real objective for casting off Final Transmutation was to kill both her Battle Standard Bearer as well as her level 4 caster, but unfortunately for me though, their characters survive, so they're perfectly fine. So with the magic phase over with, we go directly to the shooting phase. Alright, so now we're back with the shooting phase, and the shooting phase was actually quite successful on this one. So let's go and talk about exactly what ended up happening. So first of all, I concentrated fire with my Revolt, Stasi, as well as my Lucchini rifles. Both those guys actually opened fire directly into my opponent's, into Shade's Crimson Blades of Charon card. As you can see, I managed to cut that unit pretty much in half for the most part, so I'm really happy with the way that kind of came out as well. So this unit is not nearly as dangerous as it's going to be, so that part was awesome. Unfortunately for me though, my opponent did pass her panic check, so no harm, no foul there. Meanwhile, over here on the other side here with my Thugs of Debarro, they won against the Shadow Striders. I didn't charge into the Shadow Striders, so I'm about an inch away. So I opened fire with my light crossbows. Unfortunately, I was only able to kill one of those guys, but at the same time though, I did achieve my objective of actually bogging them down, so that part is pretty epic as well. Meanwhile, I then also concentrated fire over here with my Varenzo Gunners. My Varenzo Gunners opened fire directly into the Shacklemore Seers. Managed to kill 3 of those guys. And as you can see right here, my little sister Shade did fail her panic test. So because of that, the Shacklemore Seers are running away and heading for the hills because they got shot to pieces there. At the same time, I then opened fire with my cannons over here on the left-hand side. I first opened fire with Bronzino's Galloper guns. Unfortunately, only one of my cannon shots made it. The other one didn't actually commit all that much. It actually just bounced, I think, 2 inches short of actually hitting Virzilla Broken. So the one that did hit, though, did cause 3 wounds, so that part was absolutely fantastic. And unfortunately, Agonia, my great cannon, tried to open fire directly onto Rathric the Maw. But unfortunately for me, though, I failed my shot. Once again, I measured 10 from the back. I rolled a 2. Couldn't get that 8 to actually hit him. So, you know, c'est la vie. That's the best you can do on that one. So with the shooting phase over with, we skip combat phase because none of my forces are engaged in close combat. And we go directly to the bottom of turn number 1 for my little sister Shade. We'll be right back after her movement phase. Alright, so now we're back at the bottom of turn number 1 for the Dark Elves, and this is taken after the move phase. And as you can see, my little sister Shade just kind of came up kind of gingerly as quickly as she possibly can. So first of all, she does declare a charge with her Shadowrunners, and of course only an inch away from my Thugs of Tabarro, so because of that they go directly into them. It's kind of a bad move on my part because they are equipped with shields, spears, which makes them have +1 strength on their charge, so I do have my work cut out for me on that one. But if they die, oh well, they die. Now from there, of course, my Illustrious Shade then activated the Crimson Blades of Charon card. The Crimson Blades of Charon card, of course, did charge forward, and then she actually declared her charge not against my Nightmare Legion, which made sense. She actually declared charge directly against the Varenzo Gunners, and of course she tried to do that, and of course she unfortunately failed her charge distance. She missed it by 2 inches. So because of that, she only goes up 4-6 inches. I do stand and shoot as a reaction, but unfortunately for me though, I missed all my shots, so nothing much really happened there. So because of that, the Crimson Blades are still within striking distance of my handgunners. Meanwhile, over here for her Sea Stone Sorrows, what she did a quick swift reform using her Musician to put them in a column formation, and they marched up forward as quick as they can to close a distance, so that way they're in range to cast spells directly against my army. At the same time, the crossbowmen over here, on this side over here, they actually, the Morning Dawn, they actually moved up their normal move allowance of 5 inches right between these 2 ruins, so that way they're in range to open fire with their repeating crossbows directly into my Varenzo Gunners. So I do have to worry about that as well. And meanwhile over here, my little sister Shade actually kind of did like a conga line over here with her monsters, as well as with her general, as well as her hero, hiding behind this set of ruins, kind of leapfrogging behind covers that they don't get shot at with cannons, which is actually a pretty smart move. And then lastly, her Shacklemore Seers did manage to rally, so because they do come back, and they turn around and they catch their nerves again. So that being said, that pretty much makes up the move phase for this one. So with the move phase over with, we go directly to the magic phase. Alright, so that takes us directly to the magic phase. So let's go ahead and talk about what ended up happening. First of all, my little sister Shade did manage to cast off Shroud Despair directly onto the Lucchini rifles. That way they don't benefit from Inspiring Presence from my Hold Your Ground ability from my Paymaster or from my General. At the same time, they also suffer -1 to leadership as well. So that part was kind of insane. But probably the most crazy thing that ended up happening is that my little sister Shade 6-diced Arnzipal's Dark Black Horror. And she managed to get it off without getting it irresistible, oddly enough. When I rolled my 6 dice to try to stop it, I rolled a bunch of 1s, 2s, and 3s. I got nothing done. So when Shade actually rolled it, she rolled a 10 on the artillery die, which means that the large template will travel 40 inches across my entire battle lines. It's going to hit my Nightmare Legion. It's also going to hit my Varenzo Gunners. It's also going to hit the front ranks of my Brazos Lost Legion. It's also going to hit the Varenzo Gunners over here as well. It's also going to hit my 2 members of Brazino's Galloper guns, and it's going to land over here on the left-hand flank as well. So we will be right back after the events of what takes place for Arnzipal's Black Horror. And as you guys know, magical vortexes are my bane. So we'll be right back after this. Alright, so this is the aftermath of the Magic Fit, so let's go ahead and talk about exactly what happened. I used to have an army. Let's put it that way. I used to have a lot of guys on my army, but now it's pretty much just been destroyed. So let's go and talk about exactly what ended up happening. So first of all, the Original Walls Black Horde does go right through my unit of Mordini's Nightmare Legion. Managed to kill 9 of my guys, so I don't really worry too much though because they are undead, so no harm, no foul. However, when it came to my Lucchini rifles, it killed 14 of my Lucchini rifles. And needless to say, they broke because they have -1 to leadership, so leadership 6. They can't benefit from inspiring presence or stand your ground, so they're going back now and they're currently retreating as well. So that part was horrible. But the most painful thing took place over here with my Brazos Lost Legion. So let's talk about what happened. First of all, I lost Gotrek and Felix. Both of my characters died. They failed their strength test. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Commander Chiefsky, how can they fail their strength test? Because the time when I decided to roll 6s was during my strength test, so they both die. Maximilian Schreiber, he dies as well, which is my level 4 caster. So now I have no casters on my table, and I lost 2 of my characters. At the same time, I also lost, I believe, 12 members of Perazo's Lost Legion as well. Luckily for me, I did manage to stand my ground, and my general survived, so they're perfectly fine too. Unfortunately, it did clip my unit over here for my mercenary, my paymaster's bodyguards. They actually did pretty well. Unfortunately, though, who didn't do well was my special characters, Mydaas the Mean and Sheik Yadush, the paymaster special character, as well as his paid cart, which was being proxied by this ogre paymaster. They are dead. So because of that, that character is gone now. And at the same time, you notice the Vrenzo Gunners are gone, and the reason why is because it killed 16 of my Vrenzo Gunners. So my Vrenzo Gunners are now less than a quarter strength. They fled and broke, and they're fleeing 8 inches, heading directly towards the end of the battlefield, and I really can't blame them. And then lastly, the Renzo Holes Parkour also swallowed up Bronzino's caliber guns. Killed all my gun crews and Bronzino himself, and the template just stops right over there, and look at it. Look at it, it's smiling at me. It's smiling at me. So yeah, so Shade definitely got her vengeance on this one and just ate apart my army as well. But I got no quit in me. I'm still going to keep going. I still have a lot left in my army, and I'm going to try to put this army through its paces to see how well it does, especially when a lot of my special characters are dead. So with that being said, we're going to go directly to the shooting phase and be right back after the shooting phase. So now we're back with the shooting phase. And once again, oh my god, my little sister Shade, man, she came back with a vengeance in the shooting phase. So let's talk about exactly what happened. So first of all, she decides to concentrate fire with the Storms of Kos. Those are her 2 Reaper bolt throwers that are mounted directly right up here on top of the tower. So she fires her first one, firing a single shot directly into my Revolt Lestasi. Manages to hit it, and also managed to put 3 wounds directly on it, wearing a perfect 5 for the D3, and destroying that unit and blowing it up completely. She then has the second Storm of Kos, open fire directly into my Agonia, which is my cannon. She needs a 6 to hit me, and what does she roll? She rolls a 6. Hits me, and when she rolls for the D3 for the wound, she rolls a 5, so boom, Lagonia is gone as well. So my cannon is destroyed. And then, oh my god, and then the Morning Dawn. The Morning Dawn. Oh my god, the Morning Dawn. The Morning Dawn opened fire with their crossbows, doing rapid shots as well. So they're firing at 6s. They need 6s to hit me. And as you can see right here, she kills 9. 9 of my Perazo's Lost Legion. So, of course, I have to take a panic test because I lost so many guys. And, of course, I roll a 10. I'm a Merchant Prince. I have Leadership 9. So because of that now, my guys have to break. I don't get a reroll because my Paymaster is dead, so I cannot reroll it. So I roll for my break test, I roll a 12. And this unit is exactly 12 inches away from the table's edge as well, as you guys can see right over here. And so just like that, my general, as well as Perazo's Lost Legion, is gone. The only thing I will have left on the battlefield when it's all said and done on my next turn will be my Paymaster's Bodyguard from the Golden Company and the Nightmare Legion. That is all I'll have left on my table. So, and then of course Shade pretty much still has her entire army for the most part over here at the top right there. So at this point I decide to just kind of call it. I just like, okay, that's it. I surrender. You win. Shade just destroyed me in one turn. She destroyed everything I had. It was absolutely insane. But that's what's great about Warhammer. That's why I love Warhammer, right? Because Warhammer, sometimes things go really, really well, and sometimes things just, are completely out of your control, and you can't do anything about it. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go directly to the post-game, because this battle is officially over. I got slaughtered on this one. So we'll be right back with the after-action report.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
I thought about staying. They offered me the chance to lead them, to teach them, to be king.
Uh-huh.
But my place is here, so I swallowed the juice, said the words, and here I am.
Did you say the words right this time?
Well, maybe I didn't say every single tiny little syllable, no, but basically I said them, yeah. Basically.
All right, people, now it's time for the after-action report. This is the part of the battle report we talk about what went well, what went poorly, and what we can learn for the next time that we do battle. This is the after-action report for Warhammer the Golden Age, battle report number 145, and this one was a defeat. I got stomped hard. My little sister, the Shade, she actually won 2,474 victories, and I scored zero victory points. From my losses, I lost Condottieri, Patricio El Tercio, my general, Maximilian Max Schreiber, my wizard, Godric and Felix, my special characters, Mydaas the Me, my special character, Paymaster, Barrazzo's Lost Legion, the Varezzo Gunners, the Lucchini Rifles, Bronzino's Galliper Guns, Leagonia, my cannon, and Estasi, my Revolt. Shade lost just a few hours of her time. This was really, really bad. Okay, so currently my Miragliano Mercenaries current record right now is at 3 victories as well as 1 defeat, and I was slaughtered, just hands down. I just got defeated all kinds. That magical vortex from Arnzipal's Black Horror just ate me alive. And looking back now, I'm realizing that magical defense is actually a real weakness in this army. I only have the one caster, which is Maximilian Max Schreiber, and he's more offensive because he's using the lore of metal for the most part. He doesn't have any magical defense whatsoever. I don't have a Dispel Scroll in this army. And the crazy part about it is, Shade didn't get off Arnzipal's Black Horror with a miscast. She got it off, which is normal rolling. If I had a Dispel Scroll in my army, that spell would have been poof, and I would have been perfectly fine. But I didn't have one, so I might have to rethink that. I just don't have enough points to put another caster in my army as well. And looking back in hindsight, I think I might have invested way too much in the shooting attacks in my army, because I have a lot of guns, a lot of crossbows, a lot of artillery, but I don't really have anything else, really. I don't have any high strength close combat attacks to deal with monsters and stuff like that, or a lot of close combat units in general as well. And I think the reason why is because I have a lot of special characters in this army, but the special characters are eating up a lot of the points. Same thing with a lot of the regiments of renown that I have as well. So I might have to rethink my decisions on this one. I might have to go back to the drawing board for this army. But, we're still kind of starting off, so who knows. Maybe in my next battle, I'll just curb stomp my enemy, and then, of course, everything will be perfectly fine. Either ways, it's been a very long time since I've been defeated in one turn, and even though I did lose this bet game hardcore, it was still an amazing game. I got to play against my little sister, which I don't get to do very often, so that is always amazing, and every single time I do, it's always a perfect game, regardless of how it ends. And just like always, I'm looking back forward to fighting Shade again in the future. So that's good news for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.